Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Destiny video and another episode of A View from the Tower, the series that I'm producing in partnership with Game and Activision to not only talk about some of the stuff you can get up to in Rise of Iron, but also to help those of you that are new to the series, perhaps taking your steps in the Destiny universe for the first time. In last week's episode, we took a look at the heroic version of the Wrath of the Machine raid, and some of the loot that I earned from my first week diving in, but this week we're talking about Festival of the Lost, Destiny's Halloween event. If you guys have seen my videos this week, then you're likely pretty well versed in all things spooky, but for those of you looking for a means to catch up, then consider this your Festival of the Lost mega guide, everything you need to know in one place. So if you do enjoy this, you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, and comment down below and let me know what you guys have enjoyed most about Festival of the Lost this week. Now to begin with, just in case this is your first time encountering Festival of the Lost, this is a limited time event, during which the social spaces, the tower, the reef, and the Iron Temple are all decorated to fit the spooky Halloween theme. Some of the NPCs located around the social spaces wear masks, and you yourself can also participate in quests and open loot boxes to snag yourself some of those sweet masks too. The masks are made of paper, they're in the form of noteworthy characters or bosses that you've encountered throughout your time playing, and they are equipped in your helmet slot. They don't have any light, sadly, so you won't be using them as replacements for your raid helmet or your trials helmet anytime soon, but for the duration of the event, you can at least have a reason to drop your light. The event also offers rewards in the form of shaders, emblems, sparrows, fun consumable items that change your respawn animation or add additional strange objects to your head, and much more. So let's go over everything. First things first, quests. There are two main quests you can undertake in Festival of the Lost. One comes from Eva Levanti in the tower, the other comes from Tira Khan in the Iron Temple. Eva Levanti is the main event, so to speak. She will introduce you to the festival, give you a bag in which you can collect candy that can later be traded for some of the items that she has, and she'll send you on a long quest chain that will have you wear different masks whilst completing tasks. And once you finish that, you'll get one of the Treasures of the Lost, that is the loot box linked to the event that when opened, has a chance to yield any of the items you see in front of you. The candy bag she gives you will then see you earn candy when you kill enemies in the open world, or players in the Crucible, and once it's full, you can return to her and trade it for one of the masks she has, or a small loot bag that contains a few other items, one of which is a shader. On the flip side, you have Tira Khan in the Iron Temple. Her quest chain is much shorter. She will give you Lord Saladin's mask and have you talk to him, which he doesn't take too kindly to, and she too will then send you off on a quest to perform certain actions and complete certain events whilst wearing that mask. Handy in her quest will yield one of the two event-specific emblems, Frame's Honor. The other emblem comes from participating in Trials of Osiris while the event is active, so be sure to do that while the event is in town on Friday through Tuesday. Now those are the quests, but what else? Well, I mentioned masks. Masks are what this event is all about. There are 8 new masks in this event, and if you missed last year, then you can grab the old masks through trading with Eva, completing her quest, and also opening Treasures of the Lost. This year's masks are the Revenant, complete with an axe sticking out the top, Revenants being the reborn versions of the Iron Lords that you fought in the final story mission, Axis, of course the final boss in the Wrath of the Machine raid, Lord Saladin, a Siva Diamond with tentacles coming out the front that looks somewhat like the cube, so to speak, that opens up in the raid, a Wolf mask, a Ghost mask, the Lost Prince, brother of the also missing Queen of the Reef, and finally a Fire Wolf mask. This is the special mask this year that only comes from the Treasures of the Lost box, and unlike all the others, it's not paper, but instead has a pretty cool effect. Last year's special mask was this flaming blue skull, probably my favourite one of all time, but the Fire Wolf mask also has a pretty cool Easter egg. If you make use of the Howl emote, which is on sale this festival, it will then turn the flames from the Fire Wolf mask from orange to blue, which is pretty cool. You won't be able to see it through the inspection screen, but it will stay like that for a while. On top of the masks, as mentioned, there are 4 shaders to obtain. One comes from the Crucible in post-match rewards, one comes from opening Strike Horde chests with skeleton keys, one comes from the little blue bag you can get from Eva Levanti, and the super black shader comes from trading various candy with NPCs in the tower. There's a full guide for that linked down below. There are also 2 new weapon ornaments for the Bad Juju exotic pulse rifle. These also come from the Treasures of the Lost box, but do note that if you're not lucky enough to get them during the event, then they will be added to the Radiant Treasure loot boxes at a later date. In the tower, there's a temporary sparrow that you can find down in the basement where the jukebox and the emote kiosk is. This belongs to the sweeper robot, but for the duration of the event, it's a sparrow in the form of a broomstick. There is also a cool green glowing sparrow that you can get from the loot boxes if you're lucky. It's based on the old model sparrows, but it's definitely going to be nice to have when Sparrow Racing League comes around later this year. And you also have 2 rather funny ghost shells, one with devil horns and one with a blanket thrown over it to make it look like, well, a ghost. So, ghost. Then on the consumable front, things that you will likely get plenty of whilst completing quests, opening packages, etc. These little files here, these change your respawn animation and they last for 2 hours. There are 4 different ones to try out, so don't hold back and feel free to mess around with those. Plus there are also consumables that place funny objects on your head. Sleepless Gaze is a moving eyeball that respects your shader. Bad Dream is effectively a black shadowy pumpkin with wings. And the Chromatic Jack-o'-lite is a flaming jack-o'-lantern that changes colour. Beyond all that, as mentioned, there are a couple of event-exclusive emotes, plus the ones from last year too. This year's emotes are Howl, the one that ties to the Firewolf mask, and Terrify, which is this floaty, spinny emote that's a little bit freaky. Then of course, if you want to grab more of the items available, then the Treasures of the Lost are also available through Eververse. While Eva does give you 1 upon completing her quest, the remainder can be purchased for a chance at what's inside. Beyond that, there's really not much else to worry about. There is of course the mystery of this strange piece of celery, but right now there doesn't appear to be a use for this, so just hold on to it, do not delete it, because at some point in the future, it will likely be important. But for the time being, that, my friends, is Festival of the Lost. If you guys have never experienced the event before, then get out there, have some fun, and if you're a veteran Guardian, then you've probably got most of what you're after, and you're waiting to see if the celery turns into something mystical when the full moon rises. In the meantime, if you guys want more Rise of Iron videos, then you can head over to the channel and check out everything I upload there. And if you want to know more about Destiny, then you can also check out Games Destiny Hub linked down below. But until the next episode, thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.